Hey guys! Alright, so we're on our final lesson today in ancient Greece. So we've got our ancient Greece packet, and we're learning today about goddesses, or gods and goddesses, I guess. I always say goddesses first because I think they're amazing, but so gods and goddesses. And our words to know are on Mount Olympus, gods, goddesses, and myth. Pretty easily. So our first one is Mount Olympus. The next one is gods, goddesses, and myths. Great job. Okay, so we're going to go through a really quick lesson today. I'm going to talk a little bit about each god and goddess and why they're important to the Greek people, and then we'll go through and answer the review questions. All right. The ancient Greeks did not believe in one god. They had lots of different gods, and every god they had, they believed in for a different reason. They all thought they controlled something. They believed in many gods and goddesses. They believed that gods and goddesses lived on a very tall mountain. The very, very top of that mountain was called Mount Olympus. So, Kawakowski, ready? Yes, it was called on Mount Olympus. That's why our song. It says on Mount Olympus. Right. That one. The Greeks were told wonderful stories about their gods and goddesses. We call these stories myths today. We call them myths. Is slightly like a legend, and we call them that because they're not true. We know they're not true, but they were fun things that we used to believe about history that are no longer. A few American myths would be like John Henry, or the apple guy. I always forget his name. I remember his name a little bit, but he would said that he used to eat apples and he dropped apples everywhere, and that's why we have a lot of apple trees. But it was a myth, and really what didn't really happen. So Greeks had their own myths, and they were done in stories and legends. And I'm going to show you where you can find a bunch of Greek legends and myths, and I also want you to read a couple of them. So, they had stories to explain all kinds of things in nature, like storms, the rise and setting of the sun, and the seasons. They did not know the real reasons these things happen, but now we do. So now we know that they weren't true, they were just myths. The Greeks would build wonderful temples like the Parthenon to honor their gods and goddesses. Let's meet some of these gods and goddesses, and then let's meet some of them. So the packet has everything that you need to know, which is great. You have talked about Zeus and Ares and Eris and Hermes and Athena and Aphrodite. What I want you to do is I want you to go to this book, which you all should have, What Your Second Grade Needs to Know book, and you're going to go to page 84, and it has colors and pictures and all this fun stuff, and it's going to talk all about the heroes and gods and goddesses. And when you look through here, it's going to show you pictures and cool things about all of the gods and the goddesses. So if you want to grab your book, you can pause my video for a minute, go grab your book, and turn to we'll start on 86. All right, hopefully you have your book now, and I'm going to read just a couple of them so you can learn a little bit more about them. So first we have Zeus. This is in the very top one, way up here, and it says, Zeus is the king of the gods. He controlled the heavens and decided arguments among the gods. He could change his shape in an instant. If he wanted, he can come down to earth as a swan or as a fierce bull. When he was angry, he had the power to throw lightning bolts down from the heavens. All right, then I want to read about Hera. So Hera's down here. This is Hera. And it says, Hera was the wife of Zeus. She was the queen of gods and the goddess of marriage. She could be a very jealous person. But her husband Zeus had a habit of falling in love with many other goddesses and women. So Hera had a pretty good reason to usually be jealous because her husband was always around other women. And the other women liked him a lot because he was the king. Okay, then I have Ares. Ares down here, he is the god of war. He was cruel and merciless god. Wherever he went, death and destruction followed. No one liked him, not even his own parents, Zeus and Hera. And I want you to read about all of them. I'm skipping a few of them, but I want you guys to go back and read about all of them. And lastly, we're going to do Athena today. Athena was the goddess of wisdom. For the people of the Greek city Athens, she was a very special goddess, for they believed she protected their city. She had a most unusual birth. One day, Zeus had a terrible headache. He complained to Hephaestus, who took his hammer and struck Zeus on the head. When he did this, out of Zeus's head jumped Athena, already grown up and fully dressed in a suit of armor. Kind of interesting, huh? How she came to be. And then there's more like Hades, and then there's a bunch of other mythical characters that I would love for you guys to go through. Our literature this week is also going to be in this book, and you should have read, already have read the Prometheus Brings Fire, Pandora Brings Woe story, and Ophidius and the Sphinx. So make sure you go back. This is a really important part of our lesson, is to read the Greek lesson in your book. All right, and that's on, it starts on page 84. So go back to here, lesson, page 84. So now back to our packets. And you can feel free to color this, guys. There's so many coloring sheets in here. Color them. Make them beautiful. Show me how beautiful they are when we come back. All right, I'm not going to go through all the questions. I'm going to go through most of them because we already went through a lot of these already. Number 1, who did the Greeks believe was the king of all gods? That was who, class? Zeus. Yes, Zeus was the leader. He was the main guy of everybody. And number 2, who was the queen of all gods? The wife of Zeus? It was Hera. Good job. Remember Hera. And who was the god of the sea? I didn't tell you that, but in your book, it's actually going to be Poseidon. And so, class, get ready. Poseidon, the Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid's dad was Poseidon. He is the king of the sea. Number 4 is god of war. Remember, his parents didn't like him very much. That is Ares. Then we have number 5, the messenger god, who is Hermes. Great job, Hermes. And number 6, who is the goddess of wisdom that was born from his headache? They popped this on the head and out popped Athena. Athena was ready to go. And who's the goddess of love and beauty? It was Aphrodite. And number 8, who was the student of Aristotle? It was Alexander the Great. And Alexander's father was the king of Macedonia. After King Philip of Macedonia died, who took over? His son, Alexander the Great. Great job. Which city-state did not want Alexander as their king? It was Thebes. That's right. And when they said that, what did Alexander the Great do? It's not in your packet, but he burnt down the city and he made everybody become slaves. Not a very good guy. Number 12. Why did the Olympic Games, where did they first begin? In the city of Greece. And Greece is, not the country of Greece, because Greece is a country. And Greece is considered what type of land? Peninsula. Remember, a peninsula means that it is an area of land that is covered by water on 3 sides. That the main part, connector, is part of land, but then I have water here, and water over here. The first Olympic Games were held in a place called Olympia. In ancient games, athletes were given a crown of leaves. Yeah, it's just so crazy to me. A crown of leaves. And we skipped ahead. Number 7, what do we call this battle? We're going to skip that one because we don't know what we're talking about. And we'll skip 18 also because I don't know what battle we're talking about. Silly packet. Number 19, who lived to the east of Greece who liked taking over land? It was the Persians. Good job. The Persians took over. All right. So that's the end of this packet. If you keep turning the page, though, you see the packet itself is not finished. But we're not going to have any more videos for this part. You do this part on your own. So this is going to go through, again, all the goddesses and goddesses. These are of Rome. Some of them are of Rome, some of them are of Greece. But it has just a more detailed list of all the gods and goddesses. I would love for you to look through here, find your favorite god and goddess, and then email it to me or comment on this video and tell me who your favorite god or goddess is and why. And I would love to hear who your favorite is. At the very end, I'll tell you who my favorite is. And then there's some coloring sheets we have a Minotaur, which there's a story in this book about the Minotaur. So find the story and read it. I'm going to send it to you as homework next week, but maybe you can find it ahead of time. And then we have Medusa and the woman who had a head full of snakes. Wouldn't that be interesting? And then there is a couple more coloring sheets of the Cerberus, which is a 3-headed dog, and the story of the Trojan horse. Now, later on, I am going to read the story of the Trojan horse to you also, and I will post a video for that as well. But if you want to read it here to get a heads up, you're welcome to. Alright guys, I hope you had fun learning the history of Greece. I love it, and I hope you do amazing on your test. Do quizzes to get yourself ready for the test. We're still going to have tests, and you still have to do your best. Alright guys, see you later.